said I wanna leave to see the mountains. I said I really wanna hit the road. But no matter what I said, it's all just in my head. In reality I've yet to go. 'Cause I think I'll do it later. Better now to wait. But you go ahead and throw a different plan my way. Why not today? Why not today? You got your life to waste. Don't wait around for circumstance to go your way. Why not today? Why not today? Just go now, it's okay. Escape now from your cage. You've got your life to waste. Why not today? Why not today? While I'm whistling this tune, and we'll eat homemade pasta in any city we want to. Pack a bag and say, come on, let's go. 'Cause we could do this later, and sure it's worth the wait. But I think we have a better plan in place. Why not today? Why not today? You got your life to waste. Don't wait around for circumstance to go your way. Why not today? Why not today? Just go now, it's okay. Escape now from your cage. You've got your life to waste. Why not today? Why not today?
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful, amazing, awakening, chaotic, mysterious planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live here on the Intuitive Prospector page here on Facebook. I just want to say thank you for joining me on Fridays when I'm able to come on live and share share messages, share hope, share inspirations, share encouragement, motivations, and really just build community. So if you've made it here, just ask that you hit that like or subscribe button so you can get notifications when I'm going live, either here or over on my YouTube channel. We've got a show going on live right now, and let's see here. And this morning, I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about because there's been a lot of changes that I've gone through, and that's part of life, right? Transformation. But I thought today, as I was sitting in meditation and kind of reflecting, that I would talk about today's message. The best part about the future is dot, dot, dot. And what I mean by that is I get asked a lot with my intuitive work, with my consulting and readings I do with people all around the planet. Thank you to the digital transformation of not just the telephone, but Zoom or Skype or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. I can connect with people now in the digital environment more than I ever have before the pandemic. So the pandemic really pushed us into this new way of connecting with people. So, yesterday I worked with a young gentleman down in Phoenix, Arizona. And the week before, I worked with a young lady out of New Zealand. So, it's really cool to see how technology is connecting us. And a lot of times I get asked for the work that I do is, Marc, I want to know about my future. What do you see coming up for me, whether it's a relationship or a career or, you know, well, I've been asked questions like, when am I going to die? What's the winning lottery numbers? Stuff like that. As an intuitive, as a life coach, as a grief coach, as a psychic, as a medium, as a spiritualist, I don't subscribe to telling people when they're going to pass over to the other side. I don't subscribe to telling people winning lottery numbers because we're the only species that pays to live here. So at the end of the day, when you move into transformation through death, money doesn't have any real value. It has value now, but what I remind people to remember is the power of the present moment. And so the best part about the future, dot, 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 is actually a quote from Abraham Lincoln that I love. And in fact, just off camera here, I have the quote as a reminder. So I have just to my right, I have a shrine, and it's got crystals. It's got, Neo kind of bending backwards from the Matrix, because I do believe that we are in some sort of Matrix construct, that the way life goes. I've got a slinky. I've got a picture of my brothers, last picture of me and my brothers together. I've got a big prospector statue because it's all about prospecting for the diamond within, and also prospecting for the many mysteries and mysticism and unknowns in our world, because there's just a lot we don't know. We claim to know a lot, but there's still so much we don't know. And as you go down, there's a little maybe Yoda, bunch of crystals, stones from all my travels around the world, and it's a shrine. And then on the top, there's a plaque that says "Life happens," because that's what we're here to do. We're here to experience a school of life. And then below it, I've got an arrow that points, to my true north. Always looking for my true north, which would be this way. And then, of course, the reminder that today is a new day. You can start fresh, wipe the slate clean, begin again. Today, you can embrace kindness. You can practice compassion. You can stand for justice, talk to strangers, ask for help, listen with your whole heart, offer hope, work for the common good, love well, be the change you wish to see in the world. And above that is the quote from Abraham Lincoln that says, the best part about the future is that it comes one day at a time. So a lot of us, myself included, we get stuck in our past. And what has happened to you is not need to be brought into your present moment. What has happened to you is not who you are. You know, uh, we also then project to a future that is not necessarily guaranteed. And what I mean by that is, I realized this a couple of years ago, probably about 5 years ago. We had done a podcast on inspired living, and we talked with oh, what was the name of the show? It was about the burial process and how expensive it is, how much energy it takes to bury people, and the monetary value of buying, a $10,000 oak casket only to bury it in the ground and never see it again, right? And during that podcast, the expert had talked about on any given day, every single day that you're alive, around the planet, there are 50,000 people that do not open their eyes. And if you think about that, whether that's from old age, sickness, car accident, airplane crash, what have you, 50,000 souls today did not open their eyes. So after that podcast, it really reminded me about today, that the best part about our future comes one day at a time. And if you want to create the future that you envision, you plant the seeds right now in the moment. You cultivate, you set intentions, because I personally believe as a intuitive, and I believe in energy and frequency and vibration, no different than the things that actually make up your current smartphone, because without energy, frequency, and vibration, you wouldn't have a smartphone, right? Same thing with us as humans. We have energy in our heart. We vibrate at a certain frequency. That's why you can see me in the matter, the physical flesh suit. And we forget that a lot of times we can't go back and change our past unless you somehow have built a time machine. And you can't go to the future because we project what our future, what we envision it's going to be. But what you do is you start to plant seeds today for the future you want in the future, right? But think about where your journey at today. Let's say you found me, you were prospecting through social media, and you found this page, and you've hit that subscribe button and like button, so we can have more community conversations. And you're thinking, Mark, I didn't really think about my future, but go back to where you were even just 5 years ago, and envision where you thought you would be and where you actually ended up being, and what your future actually looks like. Now, I can say that because my future, I didn't envision doing any of this. This is not what I thought I would be doing. But about 10 months ago, I was given a choice. And after 23 years of working for the federal government, I have moved away. I have retired from the federal government after 23 years. I've been associated with the different aspects of the federal government, from the U.S. Coast Guard to the Inspector General's office, for the last 23 years, or since the age of 23, 22 actually, because I did a delayed entry for up to a year so I could finish my college, my 2-year degree before I went to the Coast Guard. So technically, since the age of 22, I've been affiliated or related somehow to the federal government. And now, after 23 plus years, I'm retiring. Now, it's an early retirement for me, which I'm okay with, but I did not see this 10 months ago, right? I'm retiring early because of my medical, something that I was first injured in the U.S. Coast Guard. So I have a service-connected disability from my service, not only in the U.S. Coast Guard, but as a first responder, firefighter, EMT. And that has progressed, because one thing you can't change is gravity and age, right? Those things keep compounding. So next month, I'm going to have a major surgery that I did not envision 10 months ago. So if you're thinking about your own journey and what you think is going to happen and where you think you're going to be, a lot of times it does not actually measure up to where you're envisioning or projecting to the future. So it's really a matter of saving your time and your energy, and not putting thought into something that you're not really in control of, right? And coming back to the present moment. What can you do today with me here on the community page of Metaphysical Meetup? What can you do today to start planting seeds for the things you want, whether it's relationship, whether it's career, whether it's retirement, whether it's a surgery, whether it's a trip? What can you do today to plan, to organize, to set intentions? Because energy, by the laws of physics, follows our intentions. Our intentions, our thoughts, our words, everything follows that. And so, now I'm preparing for surgery. I'm preparing to move into a new chapter of my life through retirement. But those 10 months ago, I was also given a memo. And the memo had said, during my meditation, that you can't become who you're truly meant to be if you're walking with one foot in the corporate government world and the spiritual world, right? You have to choose, but you have the choice. You have free will and choice. And this memo that I got during my meditation, the download, and for those of you that have been on the spiritual path or meditate or are intuitive or empathic, you know what I'm talking about. It's this download that just comes right into your mind. the brain, the third eye. And this came in as clear as day. Is you can't continue to be, which I've been doing for probably the last 7 years, walking in two worlds. And when I made the choice, it was easy. I was like, I don't want to do any more federal government, because the federal government doesn't work. Like I posted earlier, life is actually quite beautiful. It's the systems that are ugly. It is the systems that are dysfunctional. And I've seen that when you're inside the federal government world, and you see how the left hand doesn't talk to the right hand, and people just show up to collect their paychecks and really don't care. That's not something that I want to be a part of anymore, and did a lot of oversight and regulations, and it just doesn't work. It's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape. The term red tape actually comes from back in the day when you could actually go up to the White House. Think about this, probably 100 years ago, probably the turn of the century. You could go up and wait in line in the White House, the people's house, right? The democracy, the government that's supposed to be, a lot of people can't even tell you the law of the land, which is the Constitution. A lot of people can't tell you what the Constitution's first three words are: we the people, right? But you could actually go up to the White House, stand in line, and you could actually meet with your representation or the president of the United States or the vice president of the United States. And they would give you a piece of red tape to show that you were in line waiting. But a lot of times that line never moved, and you never got to get into, meet the president. And so that's why they call it red tape today. So there's a lot of red tape. They'll give you that piece of red tape and, oh, hey, stand in line and be patient, but a lot of times things don't get done. Example, I was on as I get ready for my retirement from the material world and move more into mindfulness of the spiritual world, and writing my next book, continue with my podcast, Inspired Living, continuing to do consulting and more events. That's where I'm moving as I retire from that part. But it's interesting to think that 10 months ago, I didn't envision myself having an early retirement. But now that it's taking place, I'm actually happy with that journey. And so again, the best part about the future is that it comes one day at a time. That comes from the great Abraham Lincoln. But it's interesting how, as I'm going through retirement paperwork, and oh my gosh, y'all, there's a lot of paperwork I've never done just off camera. Down right, right off camera. Like my own book. Right off camera, right down below here is just literally a series of different paperwork for retirement, early medical, paperwork for my surgery, paperwork for the VA. And then, of course, I have to apply for Social Security. And so when I called, I was literally on hold for 2.5 hours waiting with elevator music for somebody to come online, only to tell me that that's a national hotline, 50 million people that they take care of, and you have to go to your local office, which for me here in West Seattle is Burien. They started the paperwork, thank God, because then I would have been really upset. But it was literally 2.5 hours of trying to access my own information of Social Security that I've been paying in since I was a sophomore in high school. So I started working 1988. Actually, I went up as a freshman in high school, 1988. And my first job, I actually had a worker's permit. I actually had to sign it off, a work permit, because I was under 16. I did my first job working at Denny's as a dishwasher and a clearing the tables, a bus boy, right? So I said, when do you show me contributing to this system? But I had to wait 2.5 hours just to start the process for that paperwork that actually ties to other paperwork that I'm doing for my retirement. So I'm happy to say that I'm happy to be moving on. No regrets, no bitterness, no, things happen for a reason. And, it's about how you embrace and observe versus absorb. And so now I'm ready to embrace the unknown, right? Because I don't know what's ahead of me, but I know that if I have trust and patience and learn to let go of stuff and don't try to control life, I know that things will actually start to process out and be as they should, right? So, so I'm seeing a few of you pop up this morning. So good morning. Good morning to my team. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your protein shake. Thanks for being here on Metaphysical Meetup Live with Marc. I just want to say good morning to my Patreon prospectors, my Diamonds Hub subscribers. You can get all of the information. Oh, I forgot to update let me update my website here for you. But you can go to marklainhart.com. Let's see here. Let me change that. I forgot to do that this morning. Just for the fact I was getting everything ready for YouTube. I didn't come on last week. So there we go. So we'll change that. So right down here in the corner, right there, marklainhart.com, you can get all the links from there. Patreon, Diamonds Hub, latest book, newsletter, upcoming podcast of Inspired Living Radio, which thank you to the listeners. You've made us a top inspirational podcast to listen and follow. We do have a show next Wednesday, which I'm excited. It's going to be exciting. I think the title, I think we're calling it Finding God in Vegas. So it'll be an interesting book. I still have to read some of it. I read about a book a week, y'all, with the shows that I do. But that's where I'm moving forward to. And that's what I'm looking forward to, and putting my time and my passion and connecting to people and helping this world, because this world is just crazy, right? But again, I'm not getting caught up in the future of what can be and what may not be, the what if world, is because the best part about the future is it comes one day at a time. And when people ask me that, as an intuitive, as a futurist, as a psychic, I remind them to come back to the present moment, because the future is never 100%. It's almost like at times I feel like I'm a weatherman. I do forecasts and I do projections of, if you followed me and you follow my work, you follow my podcast, my newsletters, my articles, I talk about things that I see coming up for us in society, especially during the Roaring 20s. I said that this decade of the Roaring 20s would be very transformative for humans, from travel to space to communications to technology to AI to robotics, to little green men learning that we're not alone in the universe. There's so many things that are coming out that are just almost mind-blowing, something that you think you would be in a Star Trek episode, but it's just a reminder that things that are once science fiction end up becoming science fact, including I've talked about the secrets of Antarctica. I've talked about the next war of World War III. I've talked about civil war here in America and how the politics will continue to divide people to where it moves into violence. But at the end of the day, I also see this great coming together of the globe of people realizing that we're all humans. We may have different skin colors, different sexual orientation, different religions, but at the end of the day, there's going to be something that triggers us to say, hey, we're all humans and we share this planet. So, there are things that I see from my dreams, from my writing, from my meditations, but that doesn't mean that they're 100% accurate. I don't think there's any psychic out there or any medium out there that could tell you that they're 100% accurate. We get glimpses, we get downloads, we get to touch certain things, and then we can share them or not share them. And there's a lot of things that I don't share because I don't want to, especially here on social media. I try to make my platforms for positivity and encouragement, motivations, and to think outside the box. Think of it as a smorgasbord. Think of it as a spiritual buffet. I offered many different perspectives, and this is what I talked about 2 weeks ago, is, our options for perspectives. And there are things that I may say. There are maybe things I do that you don't agree with, but that's okay. It's my journey, not your journey, and you're entitled to your perspective, right? And we can agree to disagree, but we can be civil, and you can pick the things from a smorgasbord or a buffet that you like, and not choose the things that you don't want. The asparagus, the cauliflower, the collard greens, the fried green tomatoes, the Jello, the pudding. I lay things out because there's things that I glimpse and things that I see, but there's a lot of things that I don't share because it comes back to my mantra, my philosophy is that your greatest moment that you have is right now. Like I asked the gentleman yesterday, a young gentleman. He was younger. He's kind of reminds me of myself when I was 23, trying to find my way in this very, what I think is much more crazier world than when I was 23, because we didn't have internet, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have social media, and I think it's a lot more crazier now with today's technology. But I told him, what's your greatest commodity? And he thought about it, and he said, maybe who I am as a person, as a role model, trying to do good. And I said, no, your greatest commodity is your time, because the one thing you don't get back at the end of the day is time. Time is not linear. Time is like a spiral. And when you go to sleep, the first thing you should do every single day when you wake up and you open your eyes is to say thank you. Because like I said, those 50,000 souls that didn't open up their eyes today, there's 50,000 souls and families that are crying or grieving or upset that, that journey ended for that person. So every morning when I wake up, I say, thank you. Thank you for today, because that's all you have, y'all. And it's a reminder that the best part about the future is it happens right now. And you plant the seeds for that future you want. So thanks for the follow. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subscriptions. Big shout out to all of you that have followed me over on Facebook or on YouTube. Um, sorry, I'm a little still under the weather. I was not here last week because we actually got invited down to a VIP event in Scottsdale, Arizona, to hang out with the Mariners. So I got to meet a lot of the Mariners. They signed my baseball. But during the end of the trip, I also got really, really sick. And I think it's just from everything the last 10 months of the stress, the uncertainties, the transformation, literally transforming. I'm on a couple different medical cocktails, if you will, losing weight for my surgery next month. So, that's part of transformation, right? Gonna have part of my spine transformed into something like, from Terminator. It's kind of crazy. They're gonna actually go through my hip with a robot. I have not had surgery since I was 5 years of age, and I didn't even have surgery. I was only in the hospital because I fell out of a tree on my noggin and had a severe concussion for about 3 days. So, mentally preparing for that, because again, you don't know what that future, is April 17th going to get here? Well, yeah, eventually, but does that mean that I'm going to make it April 17th? Not necessarily. But we were invited down to Arizona. My wife had, through her job, had won this. She was nominated by her peers to go down and have this VIP with all the Mariners. So we were literally feet away from batting practice, went to a game. But at the end of the trip, I got really, really sick, and I'm just now recovering. But it was really cool. And again, you don't know what the future is going to bring. Is we went to the spring game against the White Sox in Piura. I don't know if I'm saying that right. First time I've ever been there. Never been there. And I'm actually sitting talking with a Hall of Famer from the Mariners, Jay Buhner. Some of you may know him. He went by the nickname Bone. Bald-headed guy, big goatee, nice guy. Him and his wife. We sat and talked with him and his wife. What was her name? Was Lena, I think. Lena. And we talked to them. I was asking questions about what it's like to be in the major leagues. What's it like to be a Hall of Famer? What is it like to hit a fastball when you're at the plate, and having that kind of vision and the stress and the anxiety? And so just a really insightful. Now, if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago that I would be having this conversation, again, you don't know what the future is going to bring. You don't know who's going to come into your pathway. You don't know whose conversations you're going to have. If you would have said, Mark, in 2 weeks, you're going to be sitting third base side, having cocktails with Jay Buhner. And not only that, it only got better. We're sitting there, I'm talking to him, and all of a sudden we hear this loud gong right above our head, because there's a metal overhang that goes over the crowd. Well, one of the White Sox had hit a foul ball, and the foul ball landed on this metal roof. So it gave this gong, and you could see all of us kind of like, oh God, is it going to hit us? Because that's what when you're at a game, especially if you're in foul ball territory, the first thing you do is going to cover your head. Because I watched the guy during the game literally take a ball to the noggin. So we all kind of crouched down, and then as I looked up, it was like in slow motion. It was really crazy, y'all. Even with my medical condition, I saw this ball come bouncing down, and for some reason, I just tuned in, and I went and I jumped and I grabbed it. And as I grabbed it with my left hand, no glove, grabbed it out of 4 other guys that were going up for it, landed, looked at it, went, that just happened. And I'm like, probably going to feel this in my back tomorrow. Thank God for medications. And then I turned and I said, hey, Jay, would you sign this foul ball for me? And his reaction was, in all my years, I've never seen somebody actually catch a foul ball barehanded and then turn and actually have me autograph it. So I have a ball, again, 2 weeks ago, if you would ask me this, I have a foul ball that I caught, that I turned, and Jay Buhner signed it for me. And it's sitting in my man cave next door. So it was just kind of surreal. Everything kind of was just, you can't do that. I would never be able to do that again in life. And that's the thing about life, is you never know what the day's going to bring. So it's important to seize the day, to carpe diem. And the best thing about your future is it comes one day at a time. And so I remind my clients, I remind my students about the power of presence, about the power of being in the present moment, to practice the pause, just like what Eckhart Tolle teaches, like what Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk, I'm reading his book here, The Art of Living. I love this guy. It's all about being in the present moment, because that is where your power is. That's where you manifest. That's where you start to churn to create things that you want in life. So I hope that makes sense for today. Again, we try to be here on Fridays. Again, I wasn't here last Friday because I was sick and I was traveling. So, but my YouTube channel is up to date. So thank you to everybody that has subscribed. A couple weeks ago, about a month ago, I was trying to hit 500 subscribers. I don't know what happened, but the universe is working with me in alignment as I move into retirement from the government world, the material world, and move deeper down my spiritual journey, my spiritual path. And we're about to hit 9,000 subscribers, y'all. Don't know what happened. Don't know what I did, or just the intention, or I let stuff go. But thank you for following my YouTube channel and allowing us to, someday hit that 10,000 subscribers threshold. We're just at like 8,800 subscribers on the YouTube channel, Soul Adventures. So I really appreciate it. Very honored, very humbled. So let me give you some shout outs real quick. Let's see who's hanging out with us. Good morning to Emily. Good morning, Lori. How are you? Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Tara. Good morning, Wendy. Samantha, Joe Sloan. Good morning. You do what you love. That's right. That is right, Lori. And I always remind people, even in my consultation I had with this young gentleman last night, the secret of life is, and you never know where life is going to take you, or things that are done outside of your control that force you down a path, that force you to leave the nest. Because when you leave the nest, that's where you learn how to fly. It takes courage. That's why it's called a leap of faith, right? It takes courage. But if you do that, if you start doing the things you love and you get paid to do the things you love, that, y'all, is the secret of life. And that's what I've come to realize after 23 years in the federal government. I didn't like the job. I didn't really associate with the job. It was a paycheck, good benefits, but I had to trust, and I had to have patience, and I had to move into transformation and ascension, just like what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the butterfly calls a whole new beginning. And that's where I'm at, including with my upcoming surgery. So, it's doing what you love and getting paid to do it. Because again, think about it. We are the only species on the planet that pays to live here. We pay for a mortgage, and the term mortgage in French means slow death, right? We pay to buy stuff, to have stuff that at the end of the day, when our day is done, we don't get to take with us when we transfer into the death portal, right? So my nieces and nephews will love me because they'll get all this shit. They'll get all my lightsabers, my posters, everything, right? Or some Star Wars fan will get it and appreciate it, right? But it's just a reminder that the most important part about the future is that it comes one day at a time, and that's today's message on Metaphysical Meetup. So good morning, Chrissy. Good morning, Katie. Good to see y'all. Thanks for being here. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share out. Make sure to contribute. Get your top fan badge. You do that by interacting, asking me questions. I am going to share something with you real quick. We're going to move into a little bit of music and a little bit of just practicing the pause, practicing being in the present moment. I'd like to say that I have some stuff coming up, but I don't. My schedule is now cleared. I'm doing a few readings in my development group in my podcast, and that's it for right now until after I get through the surgery, which has about a 2 to 4 month recovery time. But hopefully this summer, I will really immerse myself into setting up more events like Experience the Etheric. Again, like I said, writing my next book, maybe some cards, something. I don't know. We'll see where this goes, because I've never, like I said, 10 months ago, I never thought I'd be moving into an early medical retirement. But with transformation, it comes ascension. So I'm going to share some stuff with you this morning to maybe help you on your journey. But one of the things that I wanted to remind you of as I get my music queued up here is I'm in a place where, the 4 fundamentals that I teach in my groups, I teach my students, people that I mentor, is to have trust. And a lot of us, we want to see it before we believe it. We want to have it. We want to know it as humans. And when you move into transformation, when you move into ascension, when you move into a spiritual journey, you have to really put trust as your first foundation. You have to trust the process, right? Just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not here, right? So trust becomes a foundational, and these are things that I had to learn. I teach it, but I also had to not just talk the talk, but also walk the walk in what I'm doing. So trusting the process, having patience for the process. So those are huge, huge foundations for any development or transformation or changes that you're trying to do. Trust, patience, dedication, and discipline to the entire process. So that's what I teach on. And again, the 3 C's in life: make a choice, take a chance, see the change. Because if you don't risk it, there's never going to be the biscuit. But what I want to remind you is you don't always need a plan. Us as humans, the ego mind, the analytical mind, the planning mind, sometimes you just need to breathe. I believe in the breath so much that I got it tattooed right here on my arm as a reminder. Trust, let go, and see what happens. And that's what I'm doing, because the best part about my future is happening right now in the present moment. So let's get a song queued up for you. I'm going to share something with you. And then we will take some questions if you have some questions. So let me get over to the shared screen here. Bear with me. I had it pulled up, but I don't know if it stayed. It did not stay. Okay. So when you're the host, the producer, the editor, it can get a little crazy here. But I'd come across this, it's called The 7 Sentences I Wish I'd Read Sooner, and it's from Mind Journal. So it's a journal that I follow based on mindfulness, awareness, because awareness is your greatest agent for change. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that and play another song. Let's go with, what's a good song to play? And again, just so you know, all my music is I have a sound collection through Meta. So it's always copyright free, trademark free, royalty free. So I don't get muted on my show. So whether it's my podcast, my YouTube channel, or here on Facebook or TikTok Live. So let's do A Better Place. So if you're joining me today, and for, Metaphysical Meetup, Mocha was my old show, Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live, is we're all trying to get to that better place, whether it's a better place in the physical world, a better place in the emotional world, a better place in the mindful world, a better place in the spiritual world, whatever that better place is. And just take a moment to read through these 7 sentences, again, by the Mind Journal, and see if it makes sense. See if there's some diamonds that you can gather, some gems that you can collect as a prospector on the many roads of life, because there is a lot of them. So let's see, share screen. There it is. I'm going to turn my video off, and let's go ahead and share that. All right, there we go. And let's just go to A Better Place.
When we're all in a better place, when we're all in a better place, if the wind blows free from the treetops to the ocean, why can't we be in a better place? In me too. There are shards in the sun, and it rains on everyone, and everything's undone and broken, until we're all in a better place. Yeah, we're all in a better place. When the water flows straight down to the ocean, why are the lines so hard to trace? Oh, I'm not asking you not to be you. I don't want you to change your life, but I just want to be together, you and me, from sea to shining sea, the way it used to be. Remember, we were all in a better place. Here we were all in a better place. Yeah, the river runs wild, nothing is for certain. Why let this moment go to waste? Are you ready for
last sentence I love. Life is not tiring. Wanting life to be a certain way, but not having the confidence to make it that way, that is what's tiring. So I hope you enjoyed those 7 sentences. I wish I would have read sooner as a reminder for your journey today, because a lot of times life can be tiring because we have such expectations for life and what the future, what we think the future is going to be. But I've learned in my journey that as humans, when we have expectations, it's usually going to lead us to self-disappointments. And the future is not set. The future is not guaranteed. You can do a forecast and you can get, just like a weatherman, like I said, I can get forecasts and glimpses of what I see for a future as a futurist, as an intuitive, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be 100% right, and it's never going to be what we envision it to be. So it's, about being in the moment. It's about, the best part about the future is it comes one day at a time. So I hope you find your magic in the moment. And you can do that by just taking a nice series of deep breaths, do a meditation, get out in nature, help a stranger, help an elderly person, write something inspirational, put it out in, the social media world. I'd say get away from media, get away from politics, get away from anything that has, ego and drama and bullshit, because that's really hard to find your peace, and you want to protect your peace if you're really trying to find the magic in the moment. Because like I said, life is beautiful, but a lot of our systems are failing and crumbling because they just don't work any longer. And that's part of transformation. When things stop working, just like when the horse and buggy gave way to the automobile, just like the automobile is going to start giving way to robotics and flying cars and moving into space. Everything is progressive, right? And so, that's exciting, but also terrifying for some of us. So, if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask. If you're a top fan, I'll see your name come up with a badge next to it. It's a heart-shaped diamond, or you're a subscriber to my Diamonds Hub, you'll come up with a green so I can see you. Or if you're a Patreon prospector, I already know who you are. These are my subscriber services. Again, everything you can get here at marklainhart.com, where you get personal time with me, monthly readings, advance notices of upcoming podcasts and shows that I'm doing, and articles that I'm writing, and all of that good stuff. So if you want to continue to do a little bit of prospecting with me, the Diamonds Hub is literally less than a cup of coffee. It's $4.99 a month. It's a private page here on Facebook that you can get into. And thank you for those that have joined me along the way, those that have joined me over on YouTube, and those on my Patreon Prospector. So if you have a question, went ahead and put the Zoom link in. If you want to come in, I'll open up the Zoom room for we got about 20 minutes here. I'll open up the Zoom room if you want to come in. You can ask me a question. You can ask me about your future. I'm talking today about the best part about the future, and we can do a little, breath work. We can do a little intuitiveness. We can do a little bit of, vibrational sound baths. There's a lot that we can work with. I have many tools, just like I was telling the young gentleman last night. When you have somebody that comes to your house to fix your plumbing, or a carpenter or a welder, they have many different tools because you don't know what the job's going to entail. And that's no different than a spiritualist, intuitive, a psychic, a medium. I have different tools, from numerology to dowsing rods, to my own intuition and my own clairvoyance, to talking with dead people on the other side. They're not dead. They're actually probably more alive than we will ever be as a medium. Sometimes inspirational books, sometimes cards, sometimes, just different tools that I can have at my disposal here in my studio. So if you have, hi Denise, if you have a question for me, go ahead and ask it. If I missed any of your questions during the show, I apologize. Sometimes the algorithms I don't get to see everything. So if I missed your question, put bump with your question again. My team of moderators, if you're on, if you could let me know, call those comments out, or paste the Zoom link in for anybody. Hi, Amara. Thanks for being here, for everybody that is joining me here on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 10, 11, 12, 1 p.m. Eastern. I had to think about the time. And again, I apologize. I'm not as snappy and clicky as I normally am, because I'm getting ready for a major surgery. I have a couple different medical cocktails that I've been taking. I don't have them now because I don't take them when I'm doing my work. I don't do medicine. But when you're having like a NyQuil, for everybody you've taken NyQuil when you're sick, you kind of have that NyQuil hangover. I don't usually have to take medications, and I hate being sick. It's my pet peeve. So I'm just kind of recovering. But as soon as the show is done, I will start taking some meds, because I'm in pretty good nerve pain. I have a lot of back. I have to have my back replaced, L4, L5 fuse. So Not looking forward to it, but it's needed. It probably should have been done, according to the surgeon, 5 years ago. And plus, it's given me an early medical retirement. So, but it'll be interesting to see my journey after I have a pain-free body, because I've been living with a lot of pain this last few years and just trying to, power through it. So it's going to be interesting when I don't have that pain body, because for those of you that are in pain or have chronic pain or nerve damage, you know what I'm talking about. Every day is a struggle. And so it's going to be interesting to see after the surgery, after April 17th, how my pain and my pain body is or is not, and how my relationship with the spirit world and my spiritual connections, if they'll change or they'll become more clear, because I'm not fighting through the frequency of pain. So, so if you have a question, go ahead and ask your question. I can pull a card for you. I can do a book reading. You can come into the Zoom room live if you want to. If you do come into the Zoom room, please turn your volume down so we don't get feedback and reverberation, because all I'll hear is myself, and it's really hard to focus when I'm hearing an echo of myself. A lot of times people that come into the Zoom room live is for mediumship, because I don't do mediumship through the chat functions, through the comment sections. That doesn't work. I need yes, no, I don't know, I don't remember, for those connections. And you can be, it doesn't have to be mediumship. It could be, questions, what's going on in your journey, what's going on in our chaotic world, right? There's just so much chaos every day in the world. It's like drinking from a fire hose. And that's even more of a reason just to get into the moment and kind of detach from the toxic environments of social media, the news cycle, the politics here in America. I just saw a report that America, the United States, now has dropped out of the top 20 countries for the happiest people in the world. America is not even the happiest country anymore in the top 20. There are other countries that are, less populated, doesn't have the riches like the United States, that are more happier than me. So that's saying something about transformation in our society. That we're just not in the top 20 for happy people. But like I said, welcome to our roaring 20s. A lot of the stuff that I've talked about starting all the way back in 2018, 2019 is taking place, and there is more to come. So if you follow my journey, you can go back and look at the old shows. You can go back and listen to my old podcasts if you like. But there's good things coming too. It's not the doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world. There will be another war. There will be a civil war. There will be uncertainties and anxiety, of course, because that's just the world. It's always been like that. We just know more about it because of our communications, because of our connections through our technology. But we're also moving through the aggressiveness of our technology. We're progressing so fast, we're trying to catch up. Like I said, when I started my journey, I was talking to this young gentleman yesterday, we didn't have internet. We did not have social media. We did not have a lot of the things that we have today that has made us more connected ever in the history of the world, but has also have us more disconnected than we've ever been. So something at some point has got to give. The levee's got to break. It's not sustainable. And I do see a positive, bright future ahead of us, even past this election cycle, which will be pretty chaotic and violent. But I do see the great coming together, and I do see a lot of great things coming, because that's where I choose to put my mindset, is in the power of hope, in the power of love, in the power of kindness. We always have a choice. It doesn't cost us anything to be kind to another person and to have compassion. But in this world, especially in the corporate world, the world of money, that doesn't live there. So you have to really decide where you want to be and how you want to live out the rest of your days, because the only time you have left is the time that you have right now. That is your greatest commodity, is your time. So hi, Ruby. Let's see. Yeah, Katie, Finland is ranked #1. Yeah, that's actually, it's funny because Finland, actually, this bracelet is from Norway. It actually, you can see it here. It's in Viking, but it actually represents energy. You can see the energy here. Because I come to find out I'm from Friesland, which is northern part right above Finland. So I'm a Viking. I'm from that part of the world, Friesland. And yes, you are correct that got a phone call coming in. Let's discuss that Finland is now ranked #1, but the United States just fell out of the top 20. So that's pretty sad, but not surprising. So, okay. So hi, Kelly. Let's see here. Denise says, thanks, Katie. Wishing you well through your surgery. You got this. I do. I got it. It's, that's part of life, right? Is taking on these challenges, taking on these unknowns. But I think I'm still kind of fascinated, because I hope they do a video of it, because they're going to use a robot. This technology did not exist even 3 years ago. And the surgeon that's doing the work on my low back is going to go through my hip with a robot. They used to cut you open. They used to flay you up your back open. My buddy's had 3 surgeries, and he's better now. But when you cut into tissue, the recovery time is twice as long. You develop scar tissue, bone spurs, and they're not even cutting into my back. They're going through my hip. So I hope they take a video of it, because it's kind of cool that they're going to be using a robot with these gloves and stuff. So thank you for that, Katie. I'm only going to be down for a couple days, and then my recovery is 2 to 4 months. And I've already started the pre-op, rehabilitation for surgery and then after. So because I hate being down, I hate being sick, and so I will definitely be back. Hi, Amethyst. Denise, you bet. May I please have a card pulled by your choice? Yeah, let's go for you this morning. Let's go with a thought card for you this morning, Denise. So take a deep breath. Breath is very, very important for the journey. And the card I pulled for you this morning, and again, it's right in line with what I was talking about. So this is a Louise Hay deck. It's called The Past is Over. And I love it because it has the flowers. We're into spring right here. So here's the flowers. There's like a foundational sundial, right? So it says the past is over. This is a new day, one that I have never lived before. I stay in the now, and I enjoy each and every moment. Now, what I love about synchronicities, Denise, and coincidences, Einstein always said synchronicities are God's way, or coincidences are God's way of remaining anonymous, whatever or whoever God is for you. But this is exactly what I'm talking about on today's show. The best part about the future, ... is that it comes one day at a time. And that's from the great Abraham Lincoln. So your past is over. You can't change it. So why carry it with you? It's not who you are. Your past does not make who you are today. And again, this is a brand new day. This is a day we get in the repetitive, another day, another dollar, another grind, but you have not experienced today. This is a brand new day with unknowns and magic, uncertainties, certainties. Certainty is gravity, right? We know that gravity will be here when we wake up. We know that the sky will be blue. We know that the sun will shine. So there are certainties in life, but also there are uncertainties in life. But this is a brand new day, and we forget about that. So embrace this new day, just like a new child with new eyes, and try to find the good in the day. Try to find something that you're appreciative for, because like I said at the beginning of the show, there are 50,000 souls that didn't open up their eyes today. So the first thing you should be doing is saying thank you for the journey and embracing today, because it is a new day, and enjoy each and every moment. Okay. Does that make sense, Denise? Great reminder, and it's right in line with what I was saying with today's show. The best part about the future is it comes one day at a time. All right, Tara, thanks for being a subscriber. You can see Tara's name. She has a green badge next to it, so she's one of my Diamonds Hub subscribers. And she said Canada dropped to 15 on happiness scale. Tara, what were they before? What was Canada before 15? Just curious. Did you guys? So you said drop, so you're not as happy, because Canada's a pretty cool place. I know a lot of my colleagues are Canadian, and I love Canada. I've even thought about maybe getting dual citizenship up there or in Mexico, depending on what happens with the United States. But what did you drop from? Just curious. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Jennifer. Yeah, Amara, hold on real quick. I'll get you a card, love. Hold on. So I was just asking Tara what you dropped to in happiness, because again, the United States dropped out of the top 20. So I'm just curious. I can't remember. I do remember Finland was number 1. Sweden, Switzerland, a lot of the European countries were in the top 20. So, but I'm just curious what you dropped to in Canada. So, all right. Again, Zoom link is out there. If my team wants to grab that link for anybody that wants to come in and have a live chat with me in Zoom, I'm open that up for the next 8 minutes. We have 8 minutes, and I shut down at 11 o'clock. So the card I'm going to pull for you this morning for, we were at 13. Okay. Yeah. So you dropped 2 spots. That's not too bad, right? At least you're in the top 20. We're not even in the top 20 anymore. Hi, Colleen. All right. So this is for Amara Liz Garcia. I don't see a badge next to your name, but if you follow my work, thanks for the journey. Thanks for the follow. Make sure to subscribe. I pulled from what we call the Flower Sentience deck. So this is the Flower Sentience deck. And this card is a daffodil. So I don't know if the daffodil has any meaning to you, but the numbers on this card are the numbers 3 and 2, which adds up to the number 5 in numerology. And what that means from a numerology standpoint, the 5 is all about freedom, love, and adventure, baby. So I hope that you'll do that for this Friday. We like to say Friday, right? Like TGIF, have a great weekend. But the card itself says this: the daffodil speaks to you of forgiveness and strongly holding to your faith. It represents honesty, truth, and chivalry. The flower indicates that there is a strong regard from those in the spirit world for the actions in your life, which have not always been easy. Okay, so the daffodil. Someone in spirit is saying through this flower, quote, "You're the only one. The sun is always shining when I'm with you," end quote. There may be also a connection with an unacquainted love, So this is a daffodil. It's a great flower. I love this deck because flowers, it's spring. Spring has sprung. It's more. There's more light out, and I hope you enjoy the daffodil. And again, somebody from the spirit world is trying to make a connection with you. And for those of you that are watching, either with judgmental eyes or opinionated eyes or skeptic eyes, I've seen it all now. But I always remind people that, the spirit world and those that you love, whether it's a fur baby, a mom, a dad, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a colleague, they're only ever a thought away. And if you want to connect to them and develop this language that I've learned over the last almost 20 years now, of paying attention to the patterns, the synchronicities, the signs, the symbols, the synergy, and you ask, believe, take a deep breath in, receive information, and then perceive information based on how you hear it, see it, taste it, know it, feel it. The spirit world will give you that information. Again, we limit ourselves as humans because we think we're so smart by communicating. We can read, we can write, we can communicate. But at the end of the day, communications here is just a vibration off a vocal cord. So if you want to take this to the next level, ask, believe, deep breath in, receive, perceive, and ask your loved ones, just like this daffodil flower. I don't know if a daffodil or the color yellow has any meaning for you or made you think of somebody in the spirit world, but that itself is the communication. And that's what mediumship is connecting into a frequency that is all around us, just like a Wi-Fi signal. It's not up, it's not down, because on a round planet, there is no up or down. Metaphysically, it's impossible. But when you connect in through meditation, through prayer, through nature, through healing, and you ask, believe, deep breath, receive, perceive, then you're going to receive information in new ways. And it's actually quite fascinating. Again, when this journey unfolded for me over 20 years ago, my mind was blown. I had to work through I had to unlearn a lot of things I had learned through my religious indoctrination and dogmas and fears and judgment and opinions. But ask that spirit person that you're maybe thinking of, Amara, to show you a sign. And it may not happen real time, right? We as humans want it real time, right? Again, the only species that measures their life by a watch or a time. It may be 3 days from now. It may be 3 weeks from now. But when it happens, you'll know it and go, that's what Marc was talking about. So, hi, Michelle. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? All right, so let's see here. Hi, Caroline. Makes sense. So Denise is saying, makes sense for me. I do tend to carry the past with me, trying to learn how to not do that anymore, one day at a time. Yeah, and Denise, it's exactly what I'm saying. It's about the best part about the future, ... It comes one day at a time. And a lot of us as humans carry our past with us. But that's, today's message, because it's a reminder to me as well, as, I can't let the past, as I move into my new retirement / new journey / new soul adventure / new life. There's a lot of uncertainties, but we don't have to have a plan for everything, right? We can have trust, we can have patience, we can have dedication and discipline to follow, our heart's desires. So I'm glad that you're not carrying that past, because it can be pretty heavy and it can be pretty draining and exhausting to carry your past with you. And again, not project to a future that's never guaranteed for any of us. So you're welcome, Amara. Thank you. Makes perfect sense. I've been working with family constellation. Brilliant. Okay, good. Complete sense. Good. Denise says, oh, my son Gabriel had a reading with you yesterday. I just want to say thank you so much for your time, energy, and guidance. It helped him so much to talk to you. Love and light. My pleasure, my friend. It's what I do. It's what I'm going to be doing on a more full-time basis. Spirit World called me to do this, said, hey, Marc, time to retire from the federal government after 23 years. We need you to be an ambassador, a spokesman, be in service for what we want you to do. And that's where I'm at. So I'm happy to help. And I'm glad that I could help. It was funny, Denise, because it reminded me of my 23-year-old self. I wish I would have had a conversation at the age of 23 with somebody like myself through all the journeys that I've had and experiences to get that advice back, because I didn't do that, right? And so I commend him for that courage to come and have a reading with me. And there's going to be some cool doors that unlock for him. So as I always like to say, happy prospecting. All right. Hi, Julie. Hi, Gabriel. Good to see you, my friend. I was just talking about you, Gabriel. All right. So any other questions? Again, the live Zoom link, you got 2 minutes. I'm ending at 11 here. You've got 2 minutes if you want to come to the Zoom room. The link's there. If my team could grab that and share that with anybody that wants it. If you do want to work with me outside of a public forum or, not through Facebook or through my YouTube channels, you can always go right here to marklainhart.com, book online. My manager will send you an email with a phone link, a Zoom link. I do everything through Zoom now, just so you know. You can either call in or video in. I also work through WhatsApp and Messenger, but my main platform is Zoom or in person. I do in-person sessions now that the pandemic is over. But if you want to work with me, if you want to get a reading, you want to look at what's ahead, work into healing, work into transformation, work on, as an intuitive coach, as a grief counselor, I've pretty much seen it, done it all. So got the t-shirt. So speaking of t-shirt, this is my latest t-shirt that I'm wearing called Happy Camper. This was a cool place down in Vegas that I was a couple weeks ago. So Happy Camper. And again, the word happy. So, all right. So I don't see any other questions coming in. Last call. If you have a question, want me to pull a card, happy to do that. If you want to come to the Zoom room, ask me a question, you got about 1 minute to do that. So, and if I don't connect with you, I will be back, I think, next Friday. I plan on it, right? Again, there's no guarantee for the future, but I plan on being here next Friday for another Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, so my time zone will always be Pacific Standard Time. You just have to figure out where you're at in the world, because we have a global audience to, what time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And with technology today, it's pretty easy. You can just say, Alexa, get on the internet, type in, it's pretty easy to do. So yes, you can, Colleen. So the card I have for you this morning, take a deep breath. Let me tune into that. You need a totem animal spirit today. Your energy's low. You're feeling a little defeated to me. So let's get you a totem animal spirit. Ooh. Align your inner compass. So I picked today the common raven. And so it's funny because I just saw, we have a lot of crows here in Seattle, West Seattle, Colleen. And I was literally watching a crow the other day try to pick up this can. I kept hearing this can. In fact, there's a crow right on my window right here. I kept hearing this can drop, and I'm like, what in the heck is that noise? So I look out my studio and I just see this can, but then all of a sudden this crow comes in and grabs the can. And a lot of the crow or the raven get a bad rap, right? Because from history, if you know what they were used for, what they did for torture, they're very smart, and they're actually messengers of the spirit world. I've had some interactions with crows. They're a very smart bird. They've done studies on them, but they get a bad rap because, one, I think of their color, and two, because of their past. But for you, pay attention to the common raven about aligning your inner compass, because part of what you're experiencing right now, Colleen, is because you're out of connection. You're out of tune. Just like a guitar doesn't play well if it's not in tune, right? You have to tune it in. You have to adjust the strings. You have to adjust some of the things in your life. You have to adjust. That's why I have my compass here, right? Always find your true north. So for you, Colleen, align your inner compass and pay attention to the crow and or the raven. And there's a pearl in its mouth. So that's a great card to have for you. So great question. Gabriel, what are your thoughts on hypnosis? I think there's some interesting things that can come from hypnosis. I think there's some positive for healing from hypnosis. I've done hypnotherapy myself to work on forgiveness and healing and transformation, but it can also be very difficult. But again, sometimes you have to face the dark side of the soul. You need to face your difficulties through hypnosis, because it may unlock something in your brain that your brain locked out for a reason. Maybe it's from your past, something in your childhood. There was a lot of young things for me in my young childhood that I didn't realize, that I came to realize later in life. And I had a lot of anger and a lot of regret and a lot of embarrassment and a lot of things that my hypnotherapist, Lisa, who I went and saw we did literally like 7 weeks of direct hypnotherapy. And it was tough, but it helped me to go from the dark side, to work through the darkness, because the only way out is through or in, to address those. And once you become aware of those, that awareness helps you to release and to move into change and healing and transformation. So I have personally done it. I have personally benefited from it, but I can tell you from experience, it's, careful what you ask for, because you may unlock some doors that were supposed to remain shut. And if you unlock them and open those doors, you're going to have to work through some much deeper, bigger things than you anticipated. That's what happened to me specifically. But I can tell you, Gabriel, today, a lot of the work that I do is because I did the hard work. I did the dark soul work that we talk about in spirit. People always say, you know, a spiritual awakening is let's have a spiritual awakening. It is not cupcakes and rainbows and kitty cats. I talked about this a few weeks ago. If you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, when Neo first wakes up after taking the blue pill, he's covered in goo. He's got a tube down his mouth. He's all connected and everything starts popping off. He pulls this tube out of his mouth. He's like just covered in goo. And then all of a sudden he gets flushed down the drain. That's what like a spiritual awakening is. And then you're rescued because, again, remember, he got flushed down the drain, and then the crew literally picked him up with a claw and healed him to become the Neo that he later became in the movie. And so that's why I just love The Matrix, because there's such a spiritual message in all of that. But spiritual awakenings are not kumbaya moments. So just be careful what you ask for. All right. So let's see here. Hey, Laura. Miss Benoit, how are you? Good to see you back here. Okay. So we're a little bit after 11, so I don't see any more questions. If you have one last question, I'll take one last question. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the Zoom link just because we're over time. And again, if you want to work with me, just go to marklainhart.com right here. You get everything, podcast link, book, latest articles, book a reading with me, whatever you want to do prospecting wise. So, all right. So thank you to my team. I always appreciate, because you volunteer your time to be here to help keep the comments positive. Because again, this is a community of positivity, inspiration, encouragement, motivation. We sometimes get spam people in here. If you come in, just know that you're going to get banned and reported, because we just don't. It's like a spam call. Like, I had a spam call literally come into my phone while I was on my show. Deny it. Go to the information. Block it. Forget about it. So. All right. You're welcome, Gabriel. Good to see you, my friend. Hang in there. One day at a time. Happy prospecting. You got this. All right, y'all. So I don't see any more questions coming in. So let's close this out. I'm going to go ahead and put up those 7. No, let's do the 7 sentences again. And I'll close this out with a good song. But until our next soul adventure, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. Join me here on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to get encouraged, to get motivated. I always say, you know, the mantra for my podcast is to be inspired, to inspire others, to inspire before we expire. And that is a journey. So as I finish the show, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover that diamond within. And we'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Many blessings. Namaste.
I am only a child living in the darkness, with my heart skipping beats, staring at the matches. Now I wait for the wind to tell me we're all crazy. Now I sing for the stars. I'm here, but my voice is shaky. I used to wait for the world to change. I suppose there's still time left in the day. Can I hold your heart in mine? Can I hold your heart in mine? Can I hold your heart in mine? Can I hold your heart? I did keep it all inside. It ricocheted, it's ceaseless. Though my organs are tough, I dial my machinist, and he arrives with the part I've never even heard of. He says it's new, fancy tech, and starts to make the first cut. And who am I if not dying all the time? And who are you Would you hold my heart this time? Will you hold my heart this time? Will you hold my heart this time? Will you hold my heart?
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.